Hello, welcome to another episode of Rain Talks. Today, I have a guest from across the pond, Northbound. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Not a problem. How's it going, Mark? You all right?
I'm doing great. It's a little bit earlier here for me than you. Due to the
Yeah.
time difference, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat today.
No problem, bro. My pleasure.
Um, so this is really good timing to record this. You've had a pretty exciting, I would say, past couple of weeks. Can
Yeah,
you kind
it's
of fill in to share in the details?
yeah. So last week, well, 2 weeks ago, I released my first bass house song as Northbound, and it managed to hit number one in the bass house charts on Beatport, and it went to number 5 overall in the top 100. So it's been pretty wild. Yeah, I'd have never expected that at all. Don't think it's quite sunk in yet, to be fair.
Yeah, I
But
don't know if it ever sinks in, but congratulations. Honestly, that's like it's incredible. Like,
yeah, cheers, bro. Thanks.
and it's
Appreciate
not in a like unpopular subgenre. If you know what I'm
it. Yeah,
saying.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's
It's
I think it used to be not that popular over here, but it's absolutely exploded in England now. I think it's same for you guys over there as well, isn't it?
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
but
extremely popular.
yeah. So yeah, I don't normally. Well, my musical journey is a very strange one. So I started making music like 6, 7, 8 years ago, and
So
I
2014,
yeah,
15
around
ish.
that time, yeah, around that time, yeah. And I started off making like dubstep and bass house, but I just never got anywhere with it. And that's like during those years, that's when it started to like gradually get bigger in England. Um, and I kind of got bored of it because I work at a nightclub as well in England, a
Mm-hmm.
music venue, pretty much every weekend, and it gets played there every weekend. So I just started to get bored of it, really, to be honest with you. And then I went on to like all the melodic house stuff, deep house stuff. I started making that.
I love your deep
Um,
house stuff.
oh, thanks, bro, appreciate it. So I started making that, and then when I went took the boot camp, Cosmic Academy boot camp, um, I was just playing around with a Reese bass, and I just like made the melody like da 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 da, and they were just like, it sounds all right, does that? So I just carried on with it. Like I didn't think I'd ever make like a bass house tune again, to be honest, because as I say, I just got that bored with it. And then ironically, it's done really well and gone to number one. So yeah, I was surprised at it.
I I think like anything else, I think the success follows where your passion is. And if you're excited and passionate about bass house music, you're going to make the best quality work. Um, Also, I don't think we actually mentioned the name of the track. It's Night Drive.
It is, yeah. Night Drive featuring Gear.
Uh,
He's a rapper from Texas, and there's remixes from Sheps and We Are Robots, and they're both from Vancouver in Canada, I think.
nice. How did you find the rapper for the track?
That was through a friend, so I've got loads of friends in England who are into music, and he used to like be the CEO of a record label that put out rap music and hip hop, and he signed him to that. And he's one of my closest mates, so it was through that really. Like, obviously, I would just support him a label a few years ago, like followed every release. Um, so I just followed this rapper at the time, and he's literally the most legit, down to earth guy that you could like speak to. He's like so friendly all the time. So like I spoke to him before, and I just like messaged him, literally just slid into the DM saying, "Bro, can you record me something that sounds like this?" And he did it straight away. And it just went from there. Like it just fit perfectly over the because I already had the instrumental, and I just used a crappy loop from Splice at first, but I wanted it to sound like a similar style. So yeah, I just hit him up, and he did it straight away, and it just literally went like that. So yeah,
Dude, that's the way to do it. I'm a big fan of original vocals. I like using Splice when I'm like creating, like,
yeah,
but
yeah.
at some point, original vocal just goes so much better and like
That's
just
it. Yeah.
just
Yeah,
takes the whole track to the next level.
yeah. I've spoke to a few people about it and they said the sample were good, but like they'd heard it before, like on other songs. So I just thought it's not original, is it? Like having an original vocal is just so much better, like you say. So yeah,
Especially if
I'm
you're
glad
like
I went down that
releasing a track through like you're trying to get signed and stuff like that.
Definitely, yeah. There's no copyright issues or anything, is this? And obviously, it's going to appeal to a wider audience if it's original. So, yeah,
Um, I'm I personally I'm hoping for some more crossovers between rap and dance music as much as possible. I'm from Atlanta, so like
yeah,
I've grown up listening to rap and hip hop. It's like part of the culture here.
yeah, yeah.
And outside of trap music, there hasn't been too many crossovers. So whenever
Yeah,
I hear it, I think it fits very well with a lot of different genres potentially.
I do. I don't really hear it much, to be honest. I listen to a lot more melodic house music now, so
Hmm.
obviously it's not in that. But trap like died over here a few years ago. Like there's no one plays trap in England anymore. I know it's still big up.
Back, internet issues slash power issues. Um,
Yeah,
wait, so it's funny that trap is still extremely popular here. Um, it's I would say very popular in the southeast, at least where I am, because rap's still so popular. At some point, I can't tell the difference between rap music and trap music. Um, they're kind of one and the same nowadays. But so you said
yeah.
it's
I
died off
don't
in the
think it's
UK
as
mostly.
popular. Yeah, it's I think it's died off because grime's so big over here. Do you know what grime is?
I don't.
You don't. It's basically it's like rap, but it's at 140 BPM, so like dubstep tempo. It's more like underground basically. Like a lot of English music is a lot more underground compared to American music, like what I've experienced anyway. And there's like subgenres of it like drill, and that's kind of like trappy. It's like it's got like the trappy hi hats and 808s, but it's like as I say, it's at 140 BPM. So it's yeah, that's a lot more popular over here than rap music. It still is popular, but like grime like overtakes it really.
Do you have a grime artist I should listen to familiarize myself with the genre?
Yeah. So probably I'd say Skepta is probably one of the biggest ones. Um, I'm just trying to think now. I haven't listened to any grime for ages. There's absolutely like if you just go on BBC Radio One Extra YouTube channel, there's absolutely loads on there. JME is another good one. Is my internet really lagging?
It's a little bit, but you're still coming through. It's not too bad.
Like, I'm just gonna connect to my hotspot on my phone because it's a lot better than my Wi-Fi. Lol. So I won't be a minute. All right.
All right, that works.
Right. Can you hear me, Mark?
Oh yeah, now you're coming through.
Yeah. Bloody everyone's obviously it's like 10 past 8 over here, so everyone's at home, using Wi-Fi. So mine is just lagging like crazy.
Do you guys have bad Wi-Fi there, like in general?
Yeah, it's literally in West Yorkshire. It is one of the worst places in the country for it as well. So yeah.
I have the advantage of having extremely good internet here. We have like I think I have
Oh,
2 gigs per second.
that sounds like a dream to me. That mine is absolutely pathetic. I don't think it's 1 gig. I don't think it's 500 meg.
Um, it's the world. It's the world we live in now. It's like I don't mind paying for good internet because I don't leave my house and I work from home all day. It's like I use it all day, every day.
Yeah, yeah, you might as well then.
Um, wait, so let's get back to so your journey. You start off like deep house, melodic house. very much like I would say Nor and Pure vibes at some of your earlier releases, which is right up my alley.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But like,
literally
what was the
like
journey from
Nora
like
and Pure.
when you started to
Sorry,
like
go
where
on.
you are now?
Um, so like I said, like I was doing bass house and dubstep for like 6, 7 years, and I just wasn't getting anywhere at all. I made like 2 or 3 aliases. Just I got a few gigs in that, and it like because I'm good at DJ. I've been DJing for
Mm-hmm.
like 8, 9 years. Like I can afford I was 4 deck mixing drum and bass and dubstep. You know what I mean? So I like it. It were all right locally. Like I used to get gigs in that, but like the actual music making side of it, production, it was just wasn't going anywhere whatsoever. And I wasn't that good at it, to be honest either. I was pretty poor at it. So I just like deleted literally everything that I'd ever made, every
So was it?
upload,
It
just
was under
deleted
a
it
different
all.
name.
Yeah, there were a few different names. Yeah, yeah. There were like daft names though as well. Like what I made when I was like 18. I'm 27 now. You know, it was just like people wanted to take me serious anyway because of how stupid they were. So yeah. um. So yeah, I basically just like went back into the studio, um, and just tried to learn basically how to mix properly. Like I wasn't really doing any saturation. I wasn't using mix buses. I didn't know how to compress properly. I just turned a load of knobs and ups at best. Like I know a few people do, like beginners, and I basically just tried to learn as much as I can and not put it out until I was like seriously happy with it. And then I started rather than making the bass house. Like I'd always liked like melodic house, deep house anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I started trying to make stuff that sounded like EDX and Nora and Pure and all like the enormous tune stuff from Switzerland. Because that like just it's just like dreamland listening to that. You know, in sun, few beers. It's like my
Mm-hmm.
perfect scenario. So I started trying to make stuff like that, and I noticed that the mixes were so clean, like producers like that, and I would just try to like replicate it really. Um, yeah, and I created Northbound like I think it was December 2020. So I've been doing it like a year and 4 months now. Um, and like the first tune that I actually uploaded, it got played on BBC Radio Leeds. So I thought,
No
oh,
shit.
I've definitely improved then, yeah. So it were decent, and then I think like the first 3 that I made, they all got played on BBC Leeds, all 3 of them. And then I applied to Cosmic Academy because I wanted to like improve even more. So and then here I am. After that, I've just been like, still like I took the course in July last year, July August, and I've just been like processing basically everything that we were taught there. And just still taking it all in. Like I still read my journal. I've got it right next to me. Like still read the notes that I took from that like pretty much every day. Um, so yeah, it's just like about learning for me really. So obviously I want to put music out, but I want it to be like top quality, as I'm sure everyone does.
Yeah, I remember like one of the things that really stuck with me. It sounds so simple, but it's like having reference tracks of like good quality music to compare your music
Yeah,
against. And when you start doing
yeah,
that, you're like, this is not ready. If you listen to it by yourself,
yeah,
you've been working on it all the time. It sounds better every time you work on it almost. And like,
yeah.
but then when you compare it to like a couple reference tracks of like really high quality artists, you're like, oh, there's a lot of polish that's needed here before this is ready to get sent to anybody.
Yeah, that were a major problem for me. Even the ones like the first 3 songs that I made as Northbound, they got played on BBC Radio Leeds. Like if you play them, I'll leave it a bit. If you play them like next to a Nora and Pure song or an EDX song, they still don't sound right. And that's what like I needed to learn. It was just like putting the final few tweaks together, you know, to get it sounding like a really good mix, like nice and powerful and bassy and just like a proper song that you'd hear.
Yeah.
And that's what I've just been practicing like all the time, just working on. Um, yeah,
if you're comparing yourself against Nora and Pure, if you can get anywhere close to that standard, I think that's a good goal. She's like the
Well, I
queen
just
of the melodic house scene right now. Her
yeah,
her stuff
absolutely. Yeah.
is like so simple but elegant and like beautiful. It's like,
Yeah. It's
you
crazy.
know,
I know. I don't know how she does it. I know. But I just think like I'm so competitive. Me, like I know you shouldn't compare yourself to people, and I try not to do that now because it just makes you feel like crap, doesn't it? Especially with Instagram and social media. But like I do with my music, I do try and compare it to like the best because I want to like sound like the best. You know what I mean? So I know if it's close to that, then it should be sounding all right.
yeah, I think like I I think there's two different things there that you should split up. There's differencing between comparing your success versus someone else's, which is a
Yeah,
very dangerous game,
definitely.
because success is defined extremely differently per person. But I would say like tr- comparing your sound to someone who's successful is a very good idea because that's a good North Star to aim towards. And the closer you get towards there, the better. Um, I don't know if you'll
Definitely,
get there.
100%.
You got to remember that they're way ahead of you most of the time from a time perspective in their career. But
Yeah,
I don't think that's too. I think it's a great idea to do. But comparing your career versus someone else's is an extremely negative
yeah.
game.
I used to do that all the time when I wanting the best place mentally, we'll say. And it just makes you feel worse, doesn't it? Like you say, like it's just daft to do it because obviously people are at different points in my life, aren't they? So yeah, I never do that. Like I wouldn't compare my career to like Nora and Pierre and just think, oh no, she's way ahead of me. Um, Obviously because it's daft, it's stupid, isn't it? She's been going for years. So yeah, but the sound, definitely I'll do that because I want to sound as good as that.
Yeah, because like for example, like it's funny too. You look at a lot of artists. Like you found them because they're like super popular now,
Yeah.
and
Oh
now
yeah.
they're like at the top. But like most people, you weren't following before they made it.
Yep.
Like it's so funny. I remember when the Chainsmokers became popular. I
Mm.
remember listening to them in like early 2000, I think 8 or 9. They were just doing house remixes of songs,
Yeah.
and then they had the I want to go see them at Tomorrow World in 2012. They were the first opening spot of the day on a Friday, like a noon.
No way. 'Cause I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
no one knew who they were. I was like, I remember going to my friends. This is like, guys, we have to go see these people. They're gonna blow up. I didn't know they're gonna be this big, but I was like, they're awesome. Like they're trending in the right direction. They're on EDM.com all the time, but no one knew who they were yet. And they had the first opening slot that's like for the nobodies. And then like look at where they are now,
Yeah,
10
just
years
proves,
later.
doesn't it? Just proves everyone starts somewhere, doesn't it? And everyone's on the different path. So yeah,
I don't know if you'll get to that status, but from where they are there, it's been 10 years till now,
yeah, yeah,
or more
absolutely.
than 10
Like
years.
yeah. Do you know who? Do you listen to any bass house at all?
I do.
Have you heard of Holy Goof before from England?
I have not.
No. Well, he's like I'd, I'd go as far to say probably the biggest in England in bass house. Um, he's like he tours like all over the world literally, and we used to like book him at the music venue that I work at as a previous under a previous DJ name, um, and he only had like 2,000 likes on Facebook or something like that. Like he was not big, like he were only known in a few parts of England, um, and he has literally been making music for about I'd probably say 20 years now. But at the time, like in 2015, it probably been like 15 years. And then he like decided to change his name to Holy Goof. It started when he was about 15, and this was probably when he was like 30. He changed it to Holy. In fact, he might have been older than that. He might have been like 31, 32. And he changed his name to Holy Goof, and he made a remix of a Drake song that he said, "Do you love me?" I don't listen to Drake, so I'm not sure
Mhm.
what the song is, but you know which one I mean.
I know exactly what song you mean.
Yeah, well, he remixed that, and Tiesto played it at Ultra, and that moment is literally what blew bass house up. Like literally, it was nothing before that. and obviously that exploded his career. But it just proves like what we were saying, like you do start off like as a nobody basically, and now I think he's got like 500,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and he literally tours all over the world. And he's someone that we've known for like 10 years, and we
Mm-hmm.
were just like, but he did really well. He just worked on his craft and just exploded.
I've heard so many of those stories where it's like we used to book this guy at a fraternity party for a
Yeah,
couple $100 or $1,000 for like play a fraternity party, or like with bands I've seen this before. It's like everyone starts somewhere and you just have to like just keep going and hope you get the
yeah,
exposure.
absolutely. Yeah, that is it. There's a few stories like that with people that we've booked, and they've kept working on it. Notion's another one. He's absolutely massive as well in bass house. Like he plays at all the major festivals, like all over the world, like all the Goof does. And he was same, just booking him at Basement. That's the music venue for like a couple of £100, and now just all over the world charging thousands to play at festivals and that. And I think he's got 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. So
You
it's
got to
yeah,
build a
it's
fan
crazy.
base, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also one of those things too. That's like a really good point. It's like not only do you need to like create good music, and, like consistently put it out. Not only do you got to do the Instagram, but like you need to like actively work to get your music in front of people that don't listen to you on a regular basis, whether it's Spotify playlists or getting played by other DJs. Like unless they find you, you got to do that outreach to make sure that like people can find it and pitch them for future sets or future live streams or podcasts or whatever they're doing all the time, and get in front of those people that um,
Yeah,
normally would
definitely.
not have found you.
Yeah, like that's why we're like really glad, obviously, when my songs got played on BBC Radio. They were all played on BBC Radio Leeds, and Leeds is a population of about 2 million people. So, and it runs Saturday night prime time between like 8 and 10 o'clock at night. So, like it was obviously really good exposure. And the last one that got played, ironically, was Night Drive, and that because like they liked that one so much, they actually got me to do a guest mix on BBC Leeds as well. So like, and it was called Sounds of a Summer Mix. So like, I got to play on my melodic house, and I just like built it up from like Nora and Pio at first song,
Uh-huh.
played some of mine, and then just like built it up to like Chris Lorenzo, um, some Eli Brown, and then like finished off with Night Drive again to just build up the mix, getting like crazier and crazier. So yeah, that was good. But like you say, like that was just good exposure to people that wouldn't normally listen to it.
How long was your guest mix?
It was just like a mini mix. It was only 10 minutes long.
Okay.
So that was literally the first mix that I recorded that I fully did in FL Studio. So obviously normally I just record it on my decks, but because melodic house songs are like 6 minutes long, I'm not just gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a 2 song mix, am I? So
Your name of
yeah,
the songs. I was like, dude, did this guy get a 30-minute spot on BBC to do a guest mix?
yeah. So I did that. That was like a good learning experience as well, because now I've got like my own. I just do like a monthly radio show myself,
Mm-hmm.
a bit like Nora and Pure, and then put it on
Purified
my
radio,
YouTube.
baby.
Yeah, put it on my YouTube and SoundCloud, and I do all that in FL Studio as well now, rather than recording the mix. I just think it's easier and it takes less time, so that like it were a good learning experience, as well as getting the exposure on BBC. So yeah.
Um, quick questions for pre-doing your mixes on FL. Um, what's your process for that? Do you already have a rough idea in your mind the order of the songs you're going to do, or like what? Talk me through your process for making like a mix,
I
a
don't,
pre-recorded mix.
yeah, I don't like know necessarily what order I'm gonna do the songs in, but I like gather tunes that I've liked over the month. So it's like all fresh new songs
Mm-hmm.
that I hadn't used before, and I'll just basically I'll do it by I'll try to like fit the vibe, and so I won't go from like one song that's like nice and chilled to something absolutely crazy. I'll like try just build it up and build it up naturally. You know what I mean? So it's like like a nice natural flow to it. and then I will also do it by the key, because
Mm-hmm.
if you play something that's like in C sharp and you're transitioning something that's in F sharp, it just sounds awful, obviously. So you've got to do like I do it like that. So like I only have to put it up like one key or down one key, so
You
you're not
keep them really
changing.
close to each other so you don't have to jump
Yeah,
around.
so you're not changing the pitch of the song too much, and that's how I do it really.
And then you fade in, fade out, use audio like volume automation built in FL Studio to
Yeah,
mix it
yeah,
together.
literally just volume automate, EQ automate, and just put a filter on it sometimes as well. And just it's easy as that really, and obviously you don't have to worry about beat matching. So
I'm working on creating my first like mix,
yeah,
like that I release. Like I'm trying to do like a 60-minute one, and I was like,
yeah,
oh, I forgot I don't have decks anymore, so I had to order that. And I was like, did I do an Ableton? I was like, no, I got to practice. I gotta get the practice in. I haven't played a live show in forever, so I was like, I gotta get the reps back in.
yeah. I to be fair, I played my first live show as Northbound last year, but before that, I haven't played them for like since 2018, so that'd have been 3 years as well. But I've still got a pair of decks in my bedroom. They're here actually. So yeah, you do. It's funny though, like how much you forget, like how to keep the rhythm, like beat matching.
Mm-hmm.
Like I used to just be able to do it like with my eyes closed flawlessly, but
Yeah.
I had to almost relearn it again. Because I haven't played in that long, so I know where you're coming from with that.
I have this situation where I used to only play like when I did it in college and a little bit after it, and the last show I played was in 2015, and I loved house music. I like so everything I played was pretty much all progressive house music. So every song has an intro and an outro, and it was 128 BPM, pretty much within range. It was
Yeah,
super easy to do.
yeah,
And then I started doing future bass and like electro pop, and everything's a different key, like huge swings in BPMs,
yeah,
like 85 to 145. And you're like, I was like, oh, this is interesting. I
yeah.
have to relearn how to do everything now.
See, I was literally the exact opposite a way around, but I found it just as hard because I first started mixing dubstep, so that's 140 BPM, but it's literally just like drop, 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 and you're just
You
changing
switch
like
on the
every
drop,
minute.
right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you don't even switch it up most of the time either. Like I used to mix on 3, 4 CDJs, so you'd have like 3 songs playing at the same time, and then you'd mix your fourth one in and take your first one back out, and then you'd have the next three, and you'd put one back in. So it was like 3, 4 deck mixing, and I'd like mix it into drum and bass and all sorts. So obviously dubstep's 140 BPM to 145, and then drum and bass is like 170 to 174, and I could do it flawlessly, but then when I started like liking all the melodic house stuff, I was like, hey, this is too slow. I can't do this. With dubstep, you don't have to worry about the key really because there's no real chords. It's just like blah blah blah, just bass. So
Aggressive bass. It's almost like you
yeah,
have to like take sounds out to make room because there's like it's not much
yeah,
is coming through otherwise.
yeah, and it literally just fit together perfect, like almost every song, and it was easy to just like double drop, triple drop, quadruple drop music. But then I started doing like the progressive house and melodic house, and I had to think about keys and stuff like that, and I proper struggled at first, like I couldn't do it. And I was like, how can I not do this when I've been mixing like 174 BPM drum and bass, 4 tracks at the same time? Why can I not do 1128 to 1128 track? I just couldn't get my head around it. Obviously, I had to slow everything right down and just do like intro, outro, like you just said.
It's tough.
Oh, I'm back. I'm
Yeah,
back.
yeah, you're back. You're back. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So I was saying, like, I had to go from intro to outro, like you were saying, and I just proper struggled with it, like how slow I had to do it because I was used to just doing everything going right quick and just going crazy with the crowd, just drop after drop after drop. So it was like a big change, and I struggled with it just as much as what you probably did going to future bass.
yeah, it's funny too. Like I've actually like got into the similar journey to you. Like I remember I was like progressive house and like dubstep got super popular in bass music. And then
Yeah,
I like kind of got out of it because I didn't like it was like I would get too fatigued listening to music and like going to shows.
Mm.
And I was like, I just need something new. And I don't know what happened. It was like I had a hard switch over where it was like I heard Nora Impure one day come on, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is calling me now. I was like, I was so fatigued by going to show. I'm not throwing shade, but I think the last show I saw was like a Diplo show, and it was like every 45 seconds you just slamming a drop down, and I was like,
Yeah.
this isn't for me. Like I had a good time, but I was like, it's just it. I couldn't stay in the moment because it was changing so often, and I just kind of wanted to like go on a journey throughout the show instead of
Yeah.
like headbanging real
See,
hard.
I've got ADHD, so I used to love it. Like, because
Yeah.
obviously, I like music is like a big mood setter for me. So like, it can change my mood a lot. And obviously, like if the dubstep's going crazy or drum and
Mm-hmm.
bass, whatever, and I just used to love it and like go crazy with it. So I'd love just like drop, 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 drop. You know what I mean? But obviously, at the same time, I love melodic house, and as I've got older, I've like mellowed, I've chilled out a lot. So like
I
that's
think that's the case for most of us.
yeah, definitely.
Do you have any tips, or what are some of the learnings you've had switching over to DJing the melodic house that you can share?
Um, I think just take your time with it, really. And I'm not saying learn music theory because I don't know much at all. I know very little compared to what I used to. Because I used to play an instrument,
Mm-hmm.
but just take note of what key it's in. I'd say, and don't rush into it. Like my problem was like trying to like double drop stuff, and obviously you can put an acapella over the top of a progressive house song, but like don't try and mix it up too much. I just and also keep it so it's like naturally flowing like the music. Like don't alter the style too abruptly is what I'd say. So don't go from like one Nora Impure tune to like David Guetta future rave. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just yeah, just keep like try if you want to build it up to that because I like that music. I do it gradually over the set. Like take the listener on a journey. Don't just go from one extreme to the other. That's what my advice would be. Like pick your pick your songs carefully.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I'm not saying there might be a little bit more prep work involved in the overall set and the song choices, or
I think this.
songs that can fit at different parts of a set that you can use. I wouldn't say predetermine your set, but definitely some practice beforehand and
Yeah.
determining kind of the mood and energy of all the songs
Yeah.
so they
See,
fit
I
correctly.
even go that far. I actually do like pre like plan my set so I know that it's going to be the best experience possible. I do go that far. I'll even like write it down on my phone, like the timings that I do a transition and everything, and just remember it basically. So I know that it like I've heard a transition in my bedroom when I'm practicing. I know that it sounds
Hmm.
like unreal, so I want to make sure that I'm doing the same when I'm DJing live, and I want to like the listener to feel it like I did when I heard it for the first time, and I don't want to just mess it all up basically and do a crappier transition than what I know like sounds good.
I agree. I think that's being a professional and like caring about your craft and making sure if anyone's paying to see you or even not paying to see you that you're doing the absolute best
Definitely.
you can. Um, yeah, it's like certain times too. Like I've seen some people party pretty hard when they're performing. I'm like, I don't know how you can drink very aggressively right now
Yeah,
and play a set.
yeah. I never ever like even when I was younger and I was a bit mental. I never ever drunk during a set. Um, I actually me and my friend, one of my best mates, so he's the guy that owns the music venue Basement. We used to play dubstep back to back together all the time, and we actually got booked to play in Holland, in
Hmm.
Amsterdam. And obviously in Amsterdam, it's like a party city, and everyone were
Hmm.
getting smashed, everyone was smoking weed, but I just refused. I did not want to ruin it before the big set. So yeah, I don't know how people do it either. But people say it calms the nerves, but I think it'd just make me worse, to be honest. It just make me not care about the music as well.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. I would say always kind of bring your best self forward. If you can do it with a couple of beers and do you, but like
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah,
remember, like, people will remember your performance, and if you aren't doing as well, if you mess up, people will remember that, or also like still remember, like, I forgot we were talking about this, like, when you have a show, you'll meet people before the show and after the show.
yeah,
So like it's a good time to network with other performers and make friends, and they'll remember if you're like smashed after the show or during their show and being obnoxious. Like
yeah,
everyone just wants to hang out in the community with like nice people they get along with that are
definitely.
tolerable to enjoy the time with.
Yeah, there's so many people in England that are literally the exact opposite of that as well, and they'll just get absolutely destroyed, just drinking too much, and they'll just make a fool of themselves basically. So yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying.
I even remember people forget Cascade, biggest one of the biggest house DJs probably for the last 10 years at least, doesn't drink at all.
Yeah, good. Yeah, one of like I think it was probably my number one favorite dubstep producer DJ called Funkcase, and
Mm-hmm.
he never drinks either. He never done a drug, never drinks or all, and he's like the most energetic guy on stage. Is known for it, like all headbanging and just going mental basically. But yeah, he never drinks, and I think it's a lot better. I think that's probably one of the things that influenced me not to do it as well, like him not doing it.
Yeah, I think it's like anything else. You just need positive influence. It's like you can drink after your set and have a good time. But
No,
during,
yeah, yeah. I just think there's other times to do it. Me like I can just go out with my mates on another night and do it another weekend when I'm not playing.
yeah, I 100% agree. It's like it's weird to think of it, but like if you're performing, you're at work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
I've,
you do all
yeah.
this work, spend all this time alone in your house making music for the opportunity to be able to play in front of people, and
Yeah.
like don't fuck it up.
Exactly. I literally hardly have a social life now because I'm just doing music all the time. Um, like literally this weekend just gone. I must have spent about from Friday night to Sunday night. I must have spent literally like 40 hours just in my bedroom, just making music and sacrificing all that time. Like my friends all went out, like, and I didn't. I'm not gonna sacrifice all that time to just go and mess it all up and just get absolutely smashed during a set, which is what I've worked so hard towards. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Dude, I'm proud of you too. People like back to our past conversations. The people you see the biggest successes, you see where they are now, but you did not see them when they were sitting at home in their weekend, locked in a
Yeah,
room for 40 hours over the weekend, just making music on Ableton
yeah,
or FL Studio when everyone else is getting fun. They're sacrificing like those fun times so that they can pursue their dream and get to the place they want to go.
yeah. I have to have this conversation with so many people as well. It's like I try to do this for my future, not just waste away basically. And I'd rather sacrifice it and try work towards something and put the grind in because it'll
Yeah.
benefit me in future.
It's one of those things too. Like if this is truly your dream, are you doing everything possible to achieve it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just sacrifice so much. I'd rather sacrifice so much stuff as well. Like I watch like a lot of motivational things. Like I don't know if you ever heard of like Goggins
Oh
and
yeah, I
John.
love David Goggins.
Yeah, I watch a lot of stuff like that, and it just like just makes you realize, doesn't it? Like if you really want it, then you just got to put the work in. Basically, there's nothing else you can do. You can't get around it. You've got to put the work in if it's truly what you want to do.
I he actually so I'm a huge David Goggins fan. He got me into running and doing ultra marathons.
Yeah,
I'm not
same.
doing it this year, but I've done a couple of them, and I was like, "There's no shortcut to that. You either put the work in or you don't."
How many miles of you is an ultra marathon? Is that 100 miles?
No. It's anything longer than a marathon.
Oh, right. Still, I've
So
never
it's
run that
usually
far.
in your it's usually a 50K, a 50 mile, 100K, or 100 mile are like the normal ones.
That's congrats to you, mate. I couldn't do that. That must take some hard work. That.
But I'm not like a great athlete, right? But like I even canceled the ones I had coming up this year because I was like, I haven't put in the time and the commitment to actually achieve this. There's no
Yeah,
shortcuts. I was looking like all the ones I've done before. Like you have to like if you're signing for a race, you have to be willing to put the time in because there's nothing you can do besides put time in. It's literally just time on feet over a very long period of time leading up to those races. I'm like, do I want to spend 5 hours every Saturday and Sunday like in the mountains, driving up there, running for a couple hours, driving back, being too tired to go hang out with friends, missing parties. You know what I mean? Waking up the next day, getting back in the car, driving up, coming back being tired, like not
yeah,
wanting to like hang out with my wife or go out for dinner as much because you're tired or the next day you have to go for a run again. It's like, are you
yeah,
willing to make the sacrifices to achieve that goal? And I remember I was like, when I did my first 100K, I was like, there's nothing I won't do not to finish this race. And I did that. But then after I finished it, I knew everyone after that, if you're not fully committed to it, like it's not, you're not going to hit that goal. So you got to be all in and like do everything you can to have the positive outcome.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about like mental strength in it, and just being dedicated to the craft, and just not wanting anything else other than that goal. And yeah, it must take some doing that. Going to the mountains, like you say, every weekend and running for a couple of hours. I couldn't do that. Like I'm saying, it got me into running. I go for like an half an hour run, like 2 or 3 times a week. Nothing like that. I last about 30 minutes and then I'm done.
I'm going really slow, very, very slow.
Yeah, I go pretty fast, but like I'm absolutely like destroyed afterwards. Like I couldn't do much more.
Yeah, it's actually so one of my favorite things to do is like when I'm in the mountains running. If I'm in the mountains, my favorite thing to do is I'll like be running on a while for a while. If I like hike the uphills, I'll be listening to podcasts. But the moment I hit the peak and I get to run downhill, I'll put it on purified radio, and you just like hit like this flow state where you're just like
Yeah,
running downhill through the mountains with like that music going. It's like the best thing ever.
yeah. That does sound nice. To be fair, I don't have any mountains around by me, so it's not the same. I just have to run on streets. But
Fair.
there
Street
must be
running's the
some.
worst. Running on like in the woods is like nature is very different than because you walk every
Yeah,
time you go uphill because it's like steeper uphills versus like the roads where it's only a certain amount of degree because it's a road.
yeah, yeah. I can. I've never done running like that. To be fair, I bet it is a lot better. I've literally just solely done running on the streets. So sounds like I'm missing out.
Oh yeah. What trail running, woods running is like a way better. I hate running on the street.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
funny too. Like I'm thinking about like David Goggins' comparison to like where you are now too. I remember like I think it was in his book or in some of his interviews. He's like you do stuff by doing the stuff you don't want to do every day. Like he's like, do you think I want to run every day? I look at my shoes some morning every day, but it's actually like getting out the door and doing what you know you need to do on the days you don't need to do it. You don't want to do it is like how you get successful. Like you probably want to go hang out with the boys, but you're putting that time in instead of going out because you like you know it needs to get like you know where you want to be and you know what that is what needs to happen for to achieve that.
Yeah, it's like my daily routine is like I just don't stop. So I get up and go to work, and I finish work at between 4 and 5, and then I go straight to the gym for like an hour, hour and a half, and then obviously I've got to eat after gym, and then I take my dog. I've got a very a dog that needs walking a lot, basically. Sheep dog, border collie, if you've heard of
Mm-hmm.
that. Yeah. So she needs like 3 hours walking a day. So I've got to take
Ton
her
of
for
exercise.
yeah, all the time. So by the time I'm like sat down after work, gym, walk for an hour, it's like 8 o'clock at night, and then I've got to do music. Like basically, I literally do music from about 8 p.m. until I pass out, basically until my head drops. And like I just sit down sometimes. I just think like I just cannot be bothered. I just want to go and watch Netflix. You know what I mean? Or play my Xbox, but it's got to be done. There's no way around it. It's got to be done. Like it's same on a weekend. Like I will literally sit there from like as soon as I wake up to when I go to bed and just make music. Like the only breaks love is when I go to walk the dog. But and obviously my mates will ask me if I'm coming out. It's the weekend, come for a drink, blah blah blah. But it's like that means more to me. That's my future, so
Mm-hmm.
it's got to be done.
Do you have a routine or a schedule you follow when you're making music based on day, or you just try to work on a track and finish it, or do you have like a particular
No, but
process you follow?
I don't. But I've been seriously considering like creating one because sometimes I like with ADHD I procrastinate. Well, I can procrastinate a lot, and I'll just sit there on my phone, just like not even doing anything, and it gets really bad sometimes. I'll be sat there for an hour, and then I'll look at my screen. I'll just be like, "Oh my god, what have I been doing for the last hour?" So, but like, what I do as well sometimes is to like break that. I'll start getting up at like between 4 and 4 in the morning, and do it before work. And because I've got up at that time, obviously no one else is up, no one's talking to me, and I don't want to get up that early for no reason. So like it makes me focus on music. I don't procrastinate at all. So it's either that, or if I'm gonna do it after work, then I do need to create a schedule. Yeah, like I've been thinking about that a lot recently. But at the moment, it's just like freestyling it, just finish a track basically. Yeah. I'll write down what points, like what I think. I'll export it on that night, and I'll listen to it on my way to work on SoundCloud, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
just make a mental note of, I'll write it down what needs improving, like if I'm in the mix stage or whatever. But if I'm just writing it, then I won't do anything. I'll just go back to it and see what I can come up with. But if I'm in the mixing stage, I will like make a mental note or actually write it down.
Yeah, it's like combining our past two conversations here. It's like pro tip: if you want, stop watching Netflix, stop playing video games during the at least during the week. You don't realize how much time you get back,
Exactly.
and
I
just
don't do
wake.
it either.
Just no,
Literally.
neither do I anymore. I do watch like date nights with my wife. We sit down, we'll watch like Netflix and relax after like a busy week. Like on Friday night, that's like our thing. We stay in. Like we both have crazy weeks. It's like a time to reconnect.
Yeah.
But I don't really consider that just like sitting around. It's like quality time together. Um,
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I agree with that.
and then like the biggest life hack I ever learned was waking up early, like you said. If you wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock, you get like 2 to 3 to 4 hours of uninterrupted time to do anything you want to do.
Yeah, literally. Like this is how bad it is for me. On a morning, no one's awake. I don't get any messages. In this time, I've been sat with you. So 50 minutes, I have got one, two, about 60 messages. Like, how do I reply to all that? Like, do you know what I mean? But on a morning, I don't get any of that, and it's
Everyone's
like,
asleep. You're
yeah,
not like you're fresh. You have nothing that's like killed your spirit or energy for the day. Like I don't
yeah,
care who you are. Work will over the course of the day will zap your energy, your excitement, your creativity.
yeah. It's yeah. This conversation's made me want to start waking up at between 4 and 5 again. I did it on Monday, to be fair, and then I was really tired because I went to bed too late on Sunday, so I haven't done it again this week. But I think I'm definitely gonna have to start doing that again. I were in a really good routine with that last year. I did it for about 4 months before Christmas, and then Christmas came and I took a break off music. I didn't touch it for like a week, um, and then I never got back into that routine. But speaking about it, I do definitely need to because the benefits just outweigh so much.
Yeah, I think the one downside, not downside, but people don't also realize if you wake up early, you're also going to be going to bed early.
Yeah, yeah,
So cool, you'll be the cool kid that gets in bed at 9 p.m.
yeah. That's yeah, yeah. I remember the days. I know. Be bed in 10 minutes for
Yeah.
me. Um, yeah, it is. Yeah, that would be my pro tip to do it before you go to work because you're fresh, you're motivated, you're not getting any distractions, and distractions is a big thing for me because I'm always getting distracted.
Plus, it's like if you wake up at 5 one day, it's like you just because you woke up that time and you had the discipline to wake up, you're like, I don't know if it's just me, but you've like had the first win of the day, and then I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be productive now. I'm not gonna get up at 5 and then do nothing and watch TV. You're like,
Yeah,
I'm up.
exactly.
I'm gonna like I've already won. Let's go. Like, what can I achieve in this time before my day starts?
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, like you're not gonna get up and then just waste your time. Like it's completely pointless exercise, isn't it? So yeah, I can 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you know who Jocko Willink is?
Yeah, I've got his book. I've got a few of his books.
Yeah, he talks about like your alarm going off is like the first battle of the day. Like
Yeah,
if you hit snooze and you've lost the first battle of the day.
yeah. I've had that like literally that exact conversation with a few people at work who think I'm a weirdo for getting up that early, and I try to explain all this to them, but they just don't understand it. So yeah,
I will say I used to be the 5 a.m. crew. I'm slowly working my way back. When COVID happened and all my schedules got messed up, and it ended up just being just sleep in because I had way more time in my schedule and I had no social events ever going on. So I just
yeah,
got so much more time back that I was less crunched and motivated to wake up. I still woke up like 6:30 or 7. But it was like I used to wake up at 5 so I can work out, get all my stuff in, and then be the first one in the office in at 7.
yeah.
And
I think everyone was like that though through COVID, wasn't they? It was just a grim time.
yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I think I currently go to the gym after work, and I used to go on my dinner because my workplace has a gym, but it hasn't reopened again since, and it were a lot better. Like I felt a lot more productive, like going on my dinner. Um, I might start going in the morning before work. I don't know. I don't know what to choose, either doing music or going to the gym before work. It's a hard choice. I don't know.
I would say whatever thing is you do in the morning is the thing you can't skip.
Don't
Like you
know.
have to
Music,
get done.
probably music. Probably
Yeah.
music. Yeah.
Um,
I'm
I
not.
had a
I'm not
question to you.
training today. Oh, sorry. Go on. Go on.
I had a question for you too. What was the process of getting on BBC?
So in England, it's a lot easier for us if you're actually from here. So they've got a website called the BBC Uploader, and you just upload your music, and then the actual hosts of the shows will listen to it. Um, so each like county has its own radio show. So like Leeds has got BBC Leeds, like Manchester's got BBC Manchester, like so on. There's like 20 of them or something like that, between 10 and 20 stations. And each place has got their own uploader, and the host of that show
Mm-hmm.
will listen to it, and if they like it, then they'll play it. It is mainly for bands, like a lot more like live performers, singers, and bands
Like
get on there.
traditional bands, like rock bands
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
pretty much. Yeah, because obviously indie music is massive over here. Um, so it's mainly that sort of stuff, but occasionally they will play like electronic music as well. And if it's really good, then it'll get played on like BBC Radio 1 or 1 Extra or BBC Radio 6, and they're like national, they're not just regional uh, radio stations. So I haven't had one of them yet, but we're working towards it. That is one of the goals for the future.
That would be huge. BBC is massive. It's a little less relatable for us in the States because I know what BBC is and how big it is, but it's us like not our thing. It's
Yeah.
very like disparate.
Do you have like a main radio station in the US? Or
The
does it
issue
tend to
is
like
it would be
cable?
like BPM radio or something like that. It'd be one like the satellite radio ones would be the biggest ones.
Yeah,
Because the US is so big, we don't have a centralized radio station.
right.
It's all
So
regional based on city. So like a New York
yeah,
station is completely different than an Atlanta station.
right. I see.
You can get some like syndicated stuff, but it's usually like the morning talk shows.
Yeah, it's like Fox News is the like national news station in America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like we have
Oh no,
BBC
Fox
News.
News, CNN, and like NBC. We got a couple.
Oh, right, okay. Well, we just have like BBC News, and we have another one called ITV News. But like BBC News is the main one, and then like it's got its own radio station as well. So it literally is national, like it's the main one.
I
So
would say the biggest thing for us would be like any of the main stations, electronic stations on like satellite radio. So we have XM and Sirius is very popular here. I would say like BPM station and a bunch of other stations they have there would be like the biggest natural reach. and
Yeah.
each of those individual stations have their own like DJ hosted hour section. So like Chainsmokers will do an hour, like a bunch of major players. So getting on their playlist during those times is like would be massive. The
Yeah. I think
biggest exposure. Or then the next, in my opinion, would be almost like some podcasts, some huge podcasts, like getting on Purified or like Hexagon
I
Radio
was
or any of
just gonna
those.
say the exact same thing. Like some of the internet, like producer radio stations now, like you've just mentioned, they are just as good, if not better, because obviously you're reaching your specific target audience as well, aren't you, rather than the general public.
Mm-hmm.
So like they
It's
can be even better if it's got a massive reach.
there's even like massive, when I say massive, YouTube channels that are global,
Yeah,
but like especially in the
definitely.
United States where it's like these things are getting hundreds of millions of views,
Yeah,
and they just
absolutely. Yeah.
put you on a playlist or put you on a mix. They just throw your some graphical stuff on there. You get a ton of exposure.
Yeah, that happened to one of my songs on Spotify. It's the one with the most plays. It's got like 150K now, and that is literally because this playlist curator, he liked it and he put it on his playlist, and I've got, I think it's about 110,000 streams just from it being on his playlist. And what he does is this cool little idea for you if you fancy it. What he does is he adds a song to his playlist, and what he does, he'll do like a little minute review on TikTok of that song. So he'll play it and he'll be bopping his head to it, and he'll upload it every time on TikTok. And if it's a really good song, it'll go viral on TikTok. And I think one time, one of his videos got to 1 million likes on TikTok, and obviously it got so much traffic on that playlist, and I think I was getting like nearly 2,000 plays a day on my song just because of that, just because it blew up. And
That's
like that,
massive.
yeah, that's the way to do it. And I don't know why I haven't done it myself. To be fair, like it is a good way. It's just starting off in it and being confident with it, and growing it like organically. And that's literally exactly what he's done. And now, if you want to get on that playlist, is I got it on it for free somehow. Like he just liked it, so he put it on. I don't even know how we found it, but now he's got like his own submission pool. You can donate to get to the top of the pile. Um, so yeah, yeah, that's the way to do it.
I've seen a bunch of DJs where like a very good tactic for growing their releases, like their streams and release date, is all year round when they're not releasing music. They just have a playlist that they're driving traffic to, building up that playlist.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Like so, like they have 5,000, 10,000 people that are part of it, and they add good music all the time, and they have this whole warmed audience that whenever they release a song, they throw it to the top, and they're gonna get a ton of plays every day.
Yeah, like I spend a lot of time like looking for different playlists and curators and stuff like that, because that is literally the main way that I generate streams now from different playlists. Loads of websites to like get it heard by different curators, and like I think that's the main thing at the moment. That is the
I
main way to
aggressively
do
pitch my releases to
yeah,
Spotify playlisters.
yeah, absolutely.
It's a great way of getting in front of people that would other likewise would never see or hear your music. Like
Exactly,
outside
yeah,
of the
like
editorial stuff,
yeah. It, like there's absolutely no way that that song would have got 120,000 streams just on its own. Like that playlist curator is just been magic for that song, really. Um, so yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Yeah.
but what's the name of the playlist that shed some love on that guy?
Yeah, it's called Steve Cardigan, and the playlist is called "I'm a Rap Fan, but these house songs slap." And I think, yeah, he's a rap DJ, but he likes house music as well. And I think it's got nearly 70K followers now on that playlist, and he's made a few more. He made like a summer one, and like a deeper bass one, and other stuff like that. So, and they've got like over 10,000 followers on each one of them as well. But that rap fan, but these house songs slap. That's like the main one, and that's been going a
I
lot when he
I
started.
I,
When he's gone viral.
I think the key to a successful Spotify playlist is a catchy name.
Yeah, that's definitely
I
catchy as
I
well.
have
Yeah.
one that was like really good. I think it was like like super sad, depressing songs for the summer, and I was like, I got a ton of streams. I was like, I guess this is. I had one. I'm still on there. I get a decent amount of streams from, and I'm pretty sure the name of the playlist is "I Hate My Life,"
Oh my
and the
god!
picture is a girl crying.
Wow.
It's all breakup songs.
Yeah, it's a good tactic though. To be fair, that guy as well, Steve. He put his own song at the top of that playlist, and it's got over 1 million streams now.
Yeah, he controls it. He
Yeah,
can keep his stuff at the top for a while, and then once it starts slowing down, you move it off.
yeah, exactly. So that's the best way I think to get traffic to your music.
That's even an easy way to like. I think about all the time now. Justin was like from Cosmic was like, you need to like start doing social stuff, like consistent calendar, something you can like create on a daily basis or have a theme that you need. And like that's an easy way to have consistent content that you have to put almost no thought into. You like the song, you record, react to it, and now every time you add a song to your playlist, you have a piece of content you put on TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, and that's literally what that Steve guy does. Just reacts to it every time, and as I say, he's generated hundreds of thousands of likes just from doing that.
And how much time does that take per video? Exactly the time that it does. Maybe listen to a couple songs beforehand and just all those ones that catch your attention.
Literally, yeah, easy as that.
I try to do stuff that it falls within my daily life and workflow that doesn't add too much stress. Because like when I first started doing my social stuff, the hardest thing I would just get overwhelmed thinking about how much time it would take to do like one post and edit it and put a caption in there and overthink it, then just get too discouraged from posting and not do it consistently.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Like I've gone through like phases where I just haven't posted for a month, and then it just gets overwhelming, and then done it. Like, you're just like, I need to post, but I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Like sometimes you feel like you're just posting for the sake of it, and it doesn't make sense, or I do anyway. And I don't like being fake about it, but that's like the world we live in today, isn't it? And it's got to be done sometimes.
I agree. I think some people are very fake. I don't know. I think you have to find a proper balance of like what makes like is the most genuine you can put out there that you can put out consistently.
Yeah,
That doesn't.
that's a better word. Genuine, yeah. Putting out genuine content that you care about, that you actually you like doing it, rather than just some fake rubbish that just don't mean anything. It's literally just for the sake of it.
Yeah, like I put my podcast up. I'm going to continue to put pictures up of my dog.
Everyone likes dogs.
Everyone likes dogs. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's also the weird part too. It's like it's part of the game now, where you have to have active socials to stay relevant, to keep your fans engaged and grow the fan base in between releases, because we are not releasing music every week or even every month.
No.
Even if you're making that many songs, if you get it signed, by the time the dates get like backed up and you finally get released, the timing would be almost impossible to have a song come out every month.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, like Night Drive, I think that got signed in October and it only came out in February or March. So that's like a good 4 months. So yeah. I know it's a weird one, isn't it? Like finding the balance, like you say, between genuine and just bullshit, basically.
I've been trying to not post on the weekends. It might not be the best strategy, but I try not to look at it at least like Saturday and Sunday, if at all possible, to disconnect and then like go all in during the week like it's work, to like stay engaged and like focus. But
yeah, I don't really know what I do, to be honest. I don't have a strategy. I just try and wing it like to the best I can. I do try to put good content on there, like the monthly radio shows, dogs, like you do, my dog. And then I try like stick to like the summer theme. So like if I take a nice picture of a sunset or something like that, and then obviously just my music.
You should just start recording your sessions when you're producing, and just like screen record or like just time lapsing behind you every time you sit down.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Actually, that is a good idea.
I'm just saying, like, if you're just spending all that time, because then all you have to do, it ends up being like 60 seconds anyway, and just throw it all with some music in the background of you working.
Yeah, that is actually a good idea for content. Like, yeah, it's just like being bothered to do it though, and it's just
Oh yeah,
like the laziness element. Yeah, it's just
I
proper tedious, isn't it? Like filming yourself and then editing it, speeding it up, and uploading it.
I try to do all my editing on a Sunday and then schedule it all out with Creator Studio, with Instagram and Facebook, so that everything is scheduled, so I don't have to worry about posting it.
That's a really good idea. I need to do stuff like that, like properly schedule it. Cause I never do that. I literally just think of something and then I'll do it and I'll post it. I never schedule it in advance. I just literally wing it, like I say.
Yeah, I get frustrated too. I'll be sitting there like 15 minutes into doing one post, I'm like, "Ah!" And then I don't want to do it anymore if I don't schedule it out.
Yeah, yeah. I need to get my act together. Really, I need to start doing some scheduling.
Yeah, and then so for you too. So are shows back and like in the UK, and you're playing again live shows?
Yeah, shows have been back for a while now. We're in March, aren't we? It came like in England. It came back a lot sooner than definitely Canada because they've only just gone back to
Mm,
normal, haven't they?
yeah.
When did US go back?
Depends on what state you live in.
All right, okay.
I've been back to normal since summer of last year. Not normal, but mostly
All
normal.
right. I think you were just before us then. I think we went back to normal like September, October last year. So it's been a good few months. In fact, no, I think it was summer. I think it was summer. I think it was summer, end of summer, like August actually. Because I played in August. Yeah, it'll have been end of summer in England.
Yeah, it was nice to have live music. Like we have massive shows now because everyone's touring. Like I feel like all the borders are opening up, so like everything's going to like Atlanta. Every weekend there are massive shows at like
Yeah,
multiple clubs for every name you would ever think of. It's
yeah.
almost overwhelming at this point.
It seems very different in the US compared to England. In England, it's one extreme or the other. It's either extremely underground or it's totally over the top mainstream. But from what I've seen in like the US and Canada, it always seems like a big like production, like a big show, and it's not like that in England at all. So like an underground one, it'd be like a dubstep, drum and bass house, and it's literally just like a pitch black room with a massive sound system, and and that's it. And then the mainstream one's obviously just like your typical club, what everyone would go to, and there's like no in between really. But like in
Um,
America, from what I've seen online, it just and Canada, it just seems like always like these massive shows and yeah.
the production quality here is through the roof on every show, even like a small show with like a
Yeah,
thousand
that's what I
people.
mean. It's completely different here. Obviously, if it's a massive act, like say if David Guetta were playing, it'd be like obviously a massive, or like at a festival,
Yeah,
it's obviously a massive light show and everything. But like just your standard typical club, it's completely different.
um, yeah. The quality here is every club does a really good job nowadays. Most of the underground places are closed that like I went to when I was younger. They were really
Yeah,
small. They were the grimier places they shut down for very specific reasons. They were doing some
yeah,
sketchy stuff. I
yeah.
think the scene's kind of cleaned up more. But yeah, we some really good places that have opened up in Atlanta recently that have just taken the production quality like to the like over the top.
Yeah.
Um, for you too. So like for example, when you're playing, is your goal to play like start touring or go in like if you're in Europe, is there like a circuit that people usually go to or like popular places that people hit? Is like Paris, Amsterdam, Berlin, or any like specific places that are really popular that a lot of people go to, or do a lot of people like?
It used to
I'm
be
just not
like that.
familiar with the scene because like in the United States
Yeah,
is so massive, you can go everywhere.
yeah. It used to be like that. Like people want to go to Amsterdam, Berlin, Paris, but now because of stupid Brexit, we've left the European Union. You've got to have like a work visa, and you can't like go do it for free anymore.
Oh, you have to have a
So
work visa.
yeah, so you literally it costs you to go and play over there now, unless you're absolutely massive and you can demand a massive fee. But like if I went and did that, I'd probably end up like losing money. Like if I went on the European tour, because yeah, because of the visas and stuff you've got to get now. So But my goal anyway has always been to go and like tour in US. Like that's like the dream. I want to move over there. I want to move over there. Like that's the absolute dream and goal. Like that won't be for like 10 years or something. It'd only be if I actually made it in music. Um, but yeah, that's mine. Like, obviously, I'd love to go tour around Europe, but America's the main one for me personally.
I moved here 20 years ago. It's been fantastic. 23 years ago.
Whereabouts? Whereabouts
I
are
was
you
originally
originally from?
from Montreal, Canada.
All right, okay.
Yeah, 23 years ago. This
Yeah,
place is amazing.
yeah.
Highly
I've never,
recommend it.
yeah. What's Atlanta like? I've never really looked into Atlanta much.
It's really big and spread out.
Yeah,
Um, it's extremely green. It's
yeah.
very
That's
hot.
yeah. Sounds good. I
Very
like green. I like
yeah.
nature.
They call it the city in the forest because we have a ton of pine trees. But how they built the city is there's houses everywhere like that. But they made sure that every part of the city is still densely populated with trees everywhere. So
Yeah,
there's a lot of greenery because it rains so much too. There's just a bunch of trees and bushes and greenery everywhere. So even if you're in the city part of it, it's not like you go to a major city like New York, Chicago, or even like London where you're in the city. There's nothing besides buildings everywhere. You can
yeah,
still have like enough green space around everywhere, even around right when you get outside the city, that it has a little more natural feel that I like, and
yeah.
people are very
That
active
sounds a
being
lot
outside.
better. Yeah, I don't think I could live in an absolutely massive city like London, for example, because I do like my green as well.
Yeah, that's how I like it. I don't know. I like it here in Atlanta. People are nice. You have like a very good mix, especially in Atlanta. Like it's a cultural center. Like you have hip hop and rap music, which is like Atlanta's like the center for that, which is cool.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds good.
and then you can get anywhere in the United States pretty easily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And my geography is not too good, to be fair, of the US states, but I'll take your word for it.
I'm trying to think if you're looking at it a map,
Yeah.
we would be down here in the southeast, right by Florida.
All right. Yeah, yeah. I know where Florida is. Yeah,
We're just north of Florida.
yeah. Cool.
All right, dude, over an hour. I'm gonna wrap this thing up. I really
Yeah,
appreciate you being on, brother. It was
not a
I had a
problem. Thank you.
blast.
Yeah, me too. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
We'll do this again. Would you any other announcements, other tracks coming out or anything coming up shows wise?
I haven't got any shows, but I have got a release coming out on. Have you heard of Pretty Pink before?
I
In Germany.
have.
Yeah, well, it's on her label. I've signed the contract, and my latest song is coming out on her label, Wonderlust, and she wants me to do a mix for her podcast series, a mix series. So that's the biggest thing that's happened to me. I think that's even. I'd go as far as say that's bigger than the number one on Beatport getting that signed. So I'm really pleased with that. But I
Dude,
haven't put anything on socials yet. But
I'm so
yeah,
happy for you. She has a ton of exposure. Well deserved. All your hard work is paying off, dude.
thanks, bro.
Keep
Appreciate
it up,
that.
man. You, you,
I'll do
you
my
got your
best. You
first
too,
number
bro.
one. Now need your second number one.
Yeah, hopefully. I need a melodic house number one now.
That'd be tight.
Yeah,
All right, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
no problem, bro. I'll see you soon.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.